Hello and welcome back to Zencat Vintage. I am Kate, and here we are today doing a little thrift with me at the Missions Thrift Store in Duncan, BC, Canada. Starting off in the mug section, the first one I pick up is this cute little tooth one, purely because I thought it might be some like anime thing or some cutesy like Squishmallow, I don't know. It was cute. Then I pick up this Mark Tetro mug. Now this is a Canadian designer. His pieces are usually really like patriotic themed, so hockey players, RCMP officers, geese, that kind of thing. They are good for resale. They do resell quite well. That one in particular I ended up having to put back because it was quite scratched. So next one that we pick up though is this Pyrex, a little spring blossom on this beautiful May day. These don't sell for crazy money, but they are a consistent seller, and it was 75 cents, so in really good shape. I couldn't leave it behind for that. Then browsing through these plates and stuff here, these next ones that I pick up, I honestly thought it was a bird. It's not a bird, it's like an eggplant or something, and I realized that as soon as I picked it up, and I felt kind of stupid, but they were pretty. And then these blue Oxford ones, we actually had those when I was a kid growing up. My mom had a few of those that she had picked up at a thrift store. So it was just kind of a funny throwback. And then that, I figured when I looked at it, was a piece of Pioneer Woman, which it was in fact. So I did put that back. She's not my jam, so. Then here we are just browsing all these assorted sort of housewares. They had a bunch of teacups and some nice glassware and things like that. I was finding some of the prices were a little high though, unfortunately. Then over here I was looking at the crystal. Of course, looking for any like really nice cut crystal, looking for some of those high-end ones, Waterford and the like. This piece was beautiful. They had $25 on it though. It is a German Hofbauer piece, I believe. And unfortunately it doesn't really retail for that much more. Not from what I've seen and experienced, not that particular one. So for 25, it unfortunately had to stay behind. So then I was looking at just these different pieces. I thought that bowl was really nice. It had a really nice sparkle to it. And then this decanter was pretty as well, but $35. This Missions thrift store used to have amazing prices, and I haven't been here in quite a while, and the shift in their pricing strategy was it was considerable. It was very noticeable. So a lot of things I'm just sort of skimming right over because for resale purposes there just wasn't any room with the prices that they had on them. This was cool. It really caught my eye just because of the bright colors. It was signed, which was cool. Just like a console bowl or a fruit bowl. It was $4.50. It was super heavy, so for resale, for like shipping it, I honestly I'm trying to avoid really heavy things unless they're really worth it. So that one did go back, even though it was actually really beautiful and in beautiful condition too. So oh well, someone else will enjoy it. Then I picked up this pretty teacup. It was a Royal Albert, but I think it was $10. And it, again, retail isn't that great on it. It's not a super desirable pattern, and it's Royal Albert. So then this little guy was very sweet. Had quite a bit of wear and stuff to the gold, and as cute as it was, I wasn't really feeling it. So then next, I think I look at this cheese dish, which I'm not entirely sure who makes it. It has a little bit of that like made in Japan kind of otagiri 1970s. The top piece does, and then the bottom piece is completely different. So they were obviously mismatched. That was, I think, just someone probably lost the base of their cheese dish and improvised. So unfortunate. Had it been the original one, I probably would have picked it up. Then this was a nice little cruet set. It was actually the complete set. The salt and pepper, the little mustard or jam pot, and a cruet. But each thing was priced individually. And it was adding up as I was doing the mental math. So These are just some teacups. That was just a Shafford one. I think it was the 4-leaf clovers that caught my eye. Then as I continue to browse, oh look, there's Fergie. I didn't see that. Royal memorabilia does not generally do well. So these bowls were cool. They're just a newer thing, but they were very cool. The pattern kind of had a little bit of like a Catherine Home vibe to it, you know? So, and then next I pick up this picture, which I really loved. I really did. And I sort of look it over and I'm mulling and I'm eyeballing the paint chips at this moment. There, I'm touching them. But I was honestly going to forgive all of it. I thought this was really beautiful. Even with the wear, it was good vintage wear in my opinion. But then there was a chip on the spout, and it was a pretty big chip. So she went back, unfortunately. But that was an interesting one for the price. That I think would have been a good pickup. So, and then here we have a nice little assortment of Franciscan. Is it the Desert Rose? Is that right? Desert Rose? I want to say Wild Rose, but it's not. I'm pretty sure it's Desert Rose. So I'm having a browse through these, trying to figure out what the prices are, looking at the mark, because, you know, Franciscan, it's, you know, certain marks are older and more valuable. So I do a little bit of pondering. I do some mulling about the Franciscan. It does end up staying though. Most of the pieces were pretty heavily worn, pretty scratched up. Then that guy was a Paragon mug, teacup. Really pretty. Again, resell on it, even though it's Paragon. Not super crazy. So for $10 that I think they were asking for, it stayed. And then I'm back to this part, and yeah, I really liked those glasses actually. They were like wheat. They had the wheat stalks on them. So in this case, they had what they, as you could see at the beginning there, called their specialty items. That's clearly open to interpretation and subjective. Not that these are very lovely little pieces, but they definitely had things priced up higher in here. But we do open it up and have a bit of a closer look at a couple things. The Corning or whatever, the Visions with the clear Visions lids on them. I think that's what they are. That was a pretty little luster teacup. $20 though. That was an interesting price. This was another Royal Albert. Again, I think it was up there a little bit, probably 10. Yep. Teacups, unless they're something really crazy, don't sell fantastically well for me, unless it truly is something that is highly desirable. So I really only pick them up when they're very reasonable. Royal Doulton. These were two different patterns. They look like little canisters. I think they were actually just big sugar dishes though. And then this was the shelf next to it. This was actually a really nice Blue Mountain pottery. It's one of their more unusual colors. It's they call it slate, I believe, that one. And it was $15. They only retail in about like the $25 to $30 range, those candle holders like that. So not a lot of room there, but a great find for someone who's just, you know, collecting. And then a glass flower frog. I would normally buy that, but it was $4.50. I don't usually make a ton on them, so for $4.50 I had to leave it behind. I did buy a couple things this day, but I honestly didn't get as much as I would have hoped. and again, like I said, at this point I was starting to feel a little disheartened by the prices on things, but this was cool, and I do actually put it in my basket. I just loved that it had the little carrier with it. It's just a souvenir little like tray caddy. When I went back and looked it over again, I wiped some of the dust off, and it actually was pretty heavily scratched underneath, unfortunately. But for $2.50, I probably would have picked it up. This one was nice, but it was shipped. They had it priced at $4.50 as is. Really beautiful piece. Great for someone just looking for decor for themselves, but for resale, I'm just really trying to avoid broken things. And then I'm just looking at these little trinket boxes. Little trinkets like that I actually do really well with. So I do have another look at some of those guys. That was a pretty Ainsley teacup. They did have 2 of them, but at $10 each. That was just too rich for a cheap girl like me. This one I am looking at because I was just wondering if it was Limoges. It was not. So I just stick her back down and put her back. Yeah, Limoges pieces, they often have that blue and gold look to them, a certain like collection or series of them. And those I've done quite well with in the past, so. And same thing with that one, but you know, for the price, I just wasn't feeling it, so. And then here was just a quick little pan of the shelf that we just browsed. And here's the rest of the store. That one day I will go back and we will do a proper shop through.